What's up YouTube, Fallout Freak here, and I'm back with another Vault video. So we did a Vault video to Vault 12 in the last one, so like I said, we're going to be going in order from lowest number to highest number, and the Vault we're going to be talking about in this video is Vault 13. So without further ado, let's talk a little bit about Vault 13. Vault 13, later known as the Vault of the Holy 13 among the tribesmen of Arroyo, is one of the Vault-Tec Corporation's trademark vaults, with 13 being built in the southern half of the American state of California, west of the post-war settlement of Shady Sands, and east of the Mariposa military base. It appears as a location in both the original Fallout and Fallout 2. Background: pre-war. Construction of Vault 13 started in August 2063 and was completed in March 2069, making it the last vault on the west coast to be completed and covering 3,200,000 tons of soil at 200 feet. The starting budget for Vault 13 was $400 billion, although it eventually totaled to $645 billion. It was originally planned for Vault 13 to operate for a duration of 10 years. The vault supported up to 1,000 occupants in its 100 designated living quarters. At maximum capacity, 10 people would be assigned to a single living quarter, practicing a hot bunking system. Vault-Tec assigned the dwellers to Pip-Boy 2000 and also equipped the vault with a solar scorcher, an experimental photoelectric weapon harnessing sunlight as an energy source. In addition, Vault 13 housed heavy machinery for construction projects, sustainable hydro-agricultural farms, and a water purification system sourced from a subterranean river. Dwellers enjoyed equipment for social gatherings and enough entertainment material to last the projected duration. Communication equipment kept Vault security effective despite their limited armory. Vault 13 was also supplied with an extra Garden of Eden creation kit, which, when added to the Vault's standard complement of 2, makes 3 kits in total, instead of the extra wire chips that made their way to Vault 8. Due to its late completion, the cry wolf effect that hurt the other vaults is not as pronounced in Vault 13. Vault 13 was a control group for the Societal Preservation Program, intended to be sealed until the subjects were needed by the Enclave, according to Dick Richardson. According to the Fallout Bible, however, the purpose of Vault 13 was to remain closed for 200 years as a study of prolonged isolation. Sometime prior to the wire chip crisis, a resident named Ed was sent out for unknown reasons and died in the immediate area outside the vault, with his body left to decompose afterward. Wire chip crisis. Sometime prior to December 2161, Vault 13's standard issue water purification chip began to malfunction. The incumbent overseer made the decision to send out scouts from their population into the wasteland to find any usable replacement chips. One resident, Talius, was captured during his search by Nightkin at Necropolis, and later dipped in the vats of FEV at Mariposa, only to instead mutate into a ghoul-like mutant like Harold. He wound up with the followers of the apocalypse far away from the vault. The final resident selected by the overseer for the chip retrieval mission was a man simply called the Vault Dweller. On December 5th, 2161 at 7:21, he left the vault with a 10mm pistol, some supplies, and the pre-war coordinates of Vault 15. By then, 13's wire chip finally failed, leaving the vault's residents with just 150 days worth of wire reserves. After braving the dangers of New California, the Dweller finally returned with the chip in February 2162, recovering it from Vault 12 beneath the Necropolis, succeeding where Talius failed. The Overseer was pleased, in particular because of the rebel faction rising in the vault demanding to leave. Upon reviewing the Vault Dweller's report, in particular the mutants at Necropolis, he calculated that The mutant population was far too uniform to be the result of random chance, and concluded that there had to be a factory producing them at a startling rate. Determining it was a threat to the vault, the Overseer once more sent the Dweller into the wasteland as 13's most capable agent. The Vault Dweller succeeded locating and assassinating the leader of the mutant army, the Master, and destroying his command center, the Cathedral, in March 2162. On April 20th, 2162, the Vault Dweller completed his mission, killing the lieutenant and destroying the Mariposa military base containing the FEV vats used to create the mutants. The Vault Dweller returned to Vault 13 in May 2162. However, he was prevented from entering the vault as the Overseer stood outside the vault blast door and stated that rather than let him back inside as a hero, he was banished the Dweller into the wasteland. Convinced that his presence and exploits in saving the vault would inspire other dwellers to seek out new lives in the wasteland and abandon Vault 13 entirely, endangering the control group. In preventing this, the Overseer believed that he was saving the vault. However, when the remaining residents learned of what he did, most were disgusted by the Overseer's decision. A faction under Teresa and Lyle eventually formed and rebelled against him, leading to many leaving the vault anyways in protest. Those who remained believed that the deserts were doomed to perish in the wastes and arrested the Overseer. He was tried and sentenced to death, and the position of Vault Overseer was abolished afterward. So that is a little bit about Vault 13. I'm looking at some layout pictures right now. Okay, here we go. Notes. Let's get to some notes. The vault will be inaccessible when starting the game, but can be entered after 1 day has elapsed in game. The Vault Tech elevator decal has a spelling mistake saying Vol, V-A-U-L, Tech. However, this can be noticed on all Vault elevator panels in Fallout, not only in Vault 13. The special encounter Guardian of Forever involves passing through a glowing portal of the same name, leading to the Chosen One arriving in Vault 13's command center and having to break the water purification chip in 2161 to return to their own time, setting the events of the original Fallout in motion. If the Chosen One leaves a companion inside the vault, allows the Deathclaw massacre to occur, then returns, said companion will still be alive. Vault 13 is mentioned by a missionary in Fallout New Vegas during GI Blues and in the Gunrunner's Arsenal challenge and And in the Gunrunner's Arsenal challenge, Vault 13's Revenge. There we go. A Vault 13 canteen and the armored Vault 13 jumpsuit of the Vault Dweller appear as items with the classic pack or courier stash add-ons in Fallout New Vegas. The background music, The Vault of the Future, is reused for Vault 22 in Fallout New Vegas. A rusted Vault 13 flask can be found and given to the Vault Dweller in Fallout Brotherhood of Steel, mentioning after Vault 13 the old Vault colors haven't even faded that much. So that is a little bit, or a lot of bit, about Vault 13. If I can pull up some pictures. Oh, here's a quote from Ian. Heard about some of these places before, but never been in one. Seems nice and clean. A little too clean for my taste. Guess he means Vault 13. Now let me go ahead and pull you up. There we go. A picture of the Vault Blast Door. Let's expand my desktop and get to my desktop. This is what the Vault 13 Blast Door looks like in Fallout 2. Here is, I guess, inside the vault as you're entering the vault. Here's what it looks like on the Pip-Boy map outside. So here's Vault 13 up here. Raiders. Here's Necropolis, I think close to Vault 12. Brotherhood, Junktown. And here's another map of it. Here's a Navarro, San Francisco, Vault 13, NCR, Vault 15 really close to that, New Reno. So yeah, that is my video today of Vault 13. Hit me up in the comment section below and please let me know what you think about Vault 13 and what are some of your favorite vaults from the Fallout video game. I like Vault 22 with all the vegetation and stuff. But until my next Vault video on my Fallout Freak channel and my next video in general on my Fallout Freak channel, you must always remember that war never changes.